Hey guys, this is Stacking Pennies Spare Change Edition, breaking down some Indianapolis. We're going to the Rectangle this weekend, which I am super excited about. Joined in studio by the fella who helped us co-host this week, Brandon McReynolds. Ryan Flores is still driving back from New Jersey, so we just kept Brandon in town here to break down a little bit of Indianapolis. Have you ever spotted a car at the Indy Oval?
I have, with actually Jimmy Johnson's last year, full-time year in Cup. Spotted the 48 for him, spotted Noah that Saturday in Xfinity when they ran the high drag package. We ended up wrecking out. He was really fast in practice. I think he was P1, and Earl Barbin told me no pressure in the race, and we ended up wrecking. I don't think it was in my section. I was on the front of the Pagoda doing pit road down the front stretch into 1, and I believe he either got turned or freed up over in 2. Tough place to spot. I think this year we're going to be in turn 1 and turn 3 outside, so no more Pagoda, which I know we'll jump into that later, probably as to why. But yeah, awesome racetrack. I'm envious that you get to go cut laps there this week.
Man, it's a special place. You know, you get similar yet different feeling driving through the tunnel at Daytona, right? There's just like certain instances and certain tracks where you're like, yes. Not the new tunnel at Daytona, the wide one in turn 1. No. The one
with the guardrail.
With the guardrail where you can rip the right side mirror off your car if you're not paying attention, like Denny did on his rental car a couple years ago.
Yep.
You get a feeling when you come up out of that tunnel like, oh, yeah, palm trees are blowing in the wind. Yeah. Well, you get a similar feeling when you go to Indy, particularly down the front straightaway. Because, like I mentioned about it, grandstands, long straightaway, going to a 90-degree corner, takes full commitment. You're on the throttle, going super fast, and you're like, yes, this is why I wanted to grow up and do it. But one of my all-time favorite Indy stories did not happen on the racetrack. It happened on top of the Pagoda, and it involved a slick meat sandwich. Let's let her rip.
Looking at the 4 of Kevin Harvick, 2003 winner of the Brickyard 400. Let's listen into his radio. They're talking about the vision for the spotters.
Send someone up to spot for me. Get Mitchell or somebody up here. They took my hard card. A sandwich fell off the roof, and they're mad at it was my sandwich.
Oh, no. You can't have a sandwich fall off the roof.
Everybody knows that.
And they took this hard card.
Hey, listen, you got to control your lunch, Rick.
Little Tart says he's right. You got to control your lunch. You can't let that sandwich get away from you.
So I think
do you think this was a media ploy? Because is it coincidence or is it just ironic that Jimmy Johns was on Harvick's car and Tim Fetal would drop the sandwich?
Maybe both, but I definitely could see this happening. I wasn't up there, but I remember watching this broadcast during practice. But it's a really weird layout on the Pagoda, which I don't know if the captain, when Roger acquired that facility, if he changed it up at all. But it's like they had like scaffolding or something that you had to like climb through on the front of the Pagoda, and then you leaned up against the edge. But you were kind of like pinned in up against that wall right above the scoring pylon, or the scoreboard, I guess, that runs left to right with a crosswind. But the story I've heard talking to Fedewa was someone threw him the sandwich because you can't like navigate through there. Like you're not moving around openly like even like you would in a hallway or in a room. It's pretty tight up there. So
like Pat Mahomes, like throw me that sandwich.
I don't know if it's like
long
coach pitch or kid pitch or
did the
softball.
Underhand?
We'll have to get to the bottom of this more this weekend, and I'll do a little bit more investigation. But
Tim Fetal actually won a Pocono spotting for Ryan Blaney this weekend, so shout out Fadeaway.
And I think he had the camera on him. They're doing cameras up there too on the broadcast. They have it pointed back at the spotter. He was on the camera, so they got to see the celebration. I would assume. I haven't seen the broadcast.
Are they going to start putting the thermometers on the headset?
Oh God, we can't.
You want to back off of that?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to take an Arctic cooler up there and just sit in it
like a cold plunge tub.
There you go. I like it.
Naked.
You sound like Bowman.
Yeah. I wonder how
what
that
in the
went.
world?
We need to get him on the show and ask him how his Sunday night went after Chicago.
You guys should have just taken a microphone over there for the after party and done the podcast live from the pool area. But
would have been going.
Yeah, we'll do it in the next one. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I digress. The sandwiches.
Spotters. Yeah.
But
I don't know.
You said they're moving them.
We are moving. So we're going to be in turn 1 this year and turn 3, which I believe, I'm assuming a little bit, I believe that's the same locations that IndyCar uses for the 500.
Yeah.
So quite honestly, I think it'll be a better visual, probably be able to help you guys out a little bit more into turn 1 and into turn 3. I personally chose turn 1 so I could help with pit road as much as possible, even though you're kind of looking down kind of a hallway in that scenario, but try to help those guys out and stay clean on pit road because it is, as you know, really, really narrow. So
yeah, the last race there, we saw a big old pileup. I found myself caught in. There was about a 10 or 12 car accordion stack right there on the pit road. So that is, you definitely have to give yourself a gap getting on pit road the first time because what happens is pit road speed for Indy's fast relative to how narrow the pit road speed is. So if you get somebody rolling past their box, they jam on the brakes and try to yank it into their box real quick, and then that just accordion stacks and creates a little bit of a backup. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully nobody gets some woes from a pit road stack. But what do you guys – I'll tell you what we focus on this week. We've spent a lot of time on the simulator. It's a home race for Gainbridge. Gainbridge is a huge team partner of ours. They sponsor where the Pacers play, the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Dan Towers and Gainbridge have the 10th floor of the pagoda, like a panoramic.
Oh, wow.
It's an unbelievable spot, so I'm sure they're going to have a bunch of people there. A little bit of added pressure for our entire team because I'm sure that they'll want to see all 3 of our cars run solid this weekend, and we're going to go down there loaded for bear.
Yeah.
As is everybody else, because this is the crown jewel. We were trying to figure that out. Do you consider Indy a crown jewel?
Yeah, I think so. I think Daytona, Indy, I would consider Talladega one of them, the 500 miler. I think, are they both 500 miles?
I don't know.
They feel like 500 miles.
I just go until they tell me stop. Yeah, or I end up upside down. Then I'm like, okay, it's over.
You've run good at the plate stuff, but I would consider Talladega one. Obviously, the Coke 600, Darlington,
Southern 500.
Yeah, I remember back when they had the Noble 5. I believe, I forget the whole structure, but I think those were on the list of tracks for some of the bigger races. So I would. How about you?
For sure.
Yeah.
I think we have to figure out. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of added, whether it's purse or points. I don't know.
Yeah.
To make a crown jewel even more desirable to go get, because they put so much weight onto those wins, those being Southern 500s, Daytona 500s, Coke 600s, in the Hall of Fame voting when they're kicking around, crew chiefs getting in or drivers getting in, guys that have those brickyards, guys that have those wins on their credentials seem to take the cake over guys that have less in those categories.
Well, I remember McMurray, I think he was driving for Ganassi, and I think he might have been in a contract year, and he went out there and won
the 500 and the
Brickyard. And was it the 600 or the All-Star? Is that right? I mean, that.
I think that was, and this is all. This might be completely false.
I know where you're going.
I heard that was his either first year at Ganassi. I think that was when DEI and Ganassi merged. He had Bass Pro Shops, and he signed a purse-only deal.
Yeah, I believe that's right. And I wasn't in the room when he signed it, right?
Neither was I.
I've heard that. Yeah.
And it was a very heavy percentage purse deal, and he happened to win the 3 highest pursing races.
Not a bad year.
Good. That's a hell of a year.
Yeah, that's doing it.
So, yeah, Jamie McMurray knocked out 3/4 of the crown jewels in one season.
Yeah. Big weekend, big opportunity.
Yeah, everybody's going to be gunning for it. Certainly track position is going to be huge. You'll see some strategy. I don't know what the pit delta is. You see guys being able to pit under green at Pocono, stay on the lead lap. I assume it's going to present the same options to flip stages and do things like that to try to find your way towards the front. It's going to be hard to pass like usual, but there's only one in Indianapolis, buddy. And everybody's going to be gunning for that golden brick. And somebody wants to put their lips and pucker up to that yard of bricks on the front straightaway. And I'd love for it to be me. So we're going to give her hell. And you guys are going to tune in because it's going to be on this Sunday on network television. NBC, 2:30 p.m. on Eastern Time. NASCAR Cup Series is going to be rifling away. The Yard of Bricks going 200 miles an hour and more. See the drivers dodge treachery and danger this Sunday at 2:30. Tune in. All right, guys, this is Stacking Pennies. Corley Joy and Brandon McReynolds here. Spare change. Tune in this week and next. We'll keep stacking pennies. Keep bringing you good stuff. Goodbye.